Welcome to our virtual book party. My name is Erin and I will be your host today. This year we are offering book parties a couple of times a month. Today we have 4 different presenters from our Child and Family Library Services Department and our Storytime Specialist team. And they each are going to talk about 6 books. They have about a minute to talk about their books, so this is going to move fast. But do not worry, you do not need to write anything down. I will be sending out a list of the books afterwards. Just as a reminder, we are recording this session. We cannot see you or hear you, so the recording will just show our slides and our panelists. This month, our theme is nonfiction. We have selected a wide variety of books: animals, biographies, activity books, fairy tales, and more. I'm going to have our presenters introduce themselves. Please say your names and your position at the library. Elaine, please get us started.
Hi there, my name's Elaine and I'm a Storytime Specialist.
Hello, I'm Mary and I am an early literacy librarian.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth and I'm a Storytime Specialist.
Hi, my name is Melissa and I am the Storytime Supervisor.
And I'm Erin, the Children and Family Library Services Lead. Thanks, everyone. Go ahead and mute yourselves now until it is your turn to share a book. We will go ahead and get started. Elaine will be going first.
This amazing book is called Counting Creatures by Julia Donaldson, illustrated by Sharon King Chai. This is much more than a counting book. The text is a sing-song rhyme with complex vocabulary words, like the baby foxes are frolicking, frisking, bushy tails whisking, and the illustrations are amazing with the shiny jewel colors and animals throughout the book that are simply beautiful. Children learn the names of baby animals like pups, leverets, owlets, kits, but the best part for me was the interactive features of the book. Flaps that lift, and even better, a surprise search and find element. You find out what it is at the very last page of the book, and you have to find that something on each page throughout the book. This really got me hooked. What a journey with your child this will be. And it'll have so many reads and you'll find something new every single time. This will keep kids involved, having fun, and wanting to hear the text again and again and again. Julia Donaldson is also one of my favorite authors. This book is a winner.
For a couple of my selections, I wanted to highlight authors that are doing amazing things in nonfiction for children. Jess Keating is an author of both fiction and nonfiction, but I'm highlighting her nonfiction efforts here. Many of her titles read like fiction or contain fictional elements, like the book shown here, Eat Your Rocks, Croc. In this case, we learn about each of the animals through a question they ask Dr. Glider, and his answers, along with more sidebar facts, are included. The title refers to the fact that crocodiles can't chew, so they eat rocks to help grind their food in their stomachs to digest it. There will be a second story in the Dr. Glider's Advice for Troubled Animals series that's coming out in September called Set Your Alarm, Sloth. These are perfect for preschoolers and early elementary kids, as are the other books in her World of Weird Animals series that includes Cute as an Axolotl, Gross as a Snot Otter, and Pink as a Blobfish. If you want facts told in a fun, informative way, Jess Keating's books are for you.
My first book is Who Am I? An Animal Guessing Game, written and illustrated by Steve Jenkins and Robin Page. This engaging, interactive book gives visual and verbal clues about an animal and invites the reader to guess what it is. Then flip the page to see whether the guess was right. The back of the book has additional, simple, nonfiction facts about the animals. This author-illustrator pair are a husband and wife team who live in our very own Boulder, Colorado. They have won numerous accolades and awards for their books, including a Caldecott honor for the book, What Do You Do with a Tail Like This? I love their bold, realistic illustrations and recommend all of their books, but this one is my favorite. This book is accessible to our younger audiences, and I have read it in story time. I'd recommend this book to ages 2 to 6.
Grown-ups may recognize the details in Moth and Evolution story from their own high school science textbooks, but author Isabel Thomas lyrically and elegantly tells the same story here for an elementary school audience. Before the Industrial Revolution, most peppered moths were lightly colored with dark speckles, which camouflaged them well on tree trunks. Once the air became full of coal smoke and soot covered the tree trunks, the darkest moth became the ones who could hide from predators and survive, and the lighter moths became much rarer. To showcase the differences, illustrator Daniel Ignaeus uses the limited color palette in his mixed media collages. There's a note at the back with more detailed discussions of the terms evolution, natural selection, and adaptation, but this is the perfect use of the picture book format to use striking visual images to help explain a foundational tenet of biology.
I thought I'd showcase this whole series. It's called What If You Had? It's written by Sandra Markle and illustrated by Howard McWilliam. So I really love it when authors and illustrators make you want to go out and do research to find out more about their topic. And this series does just that. So get ready to learn about animals all over the world. What if you woke up one morning and your ears weren't your own, or your teeth, or your hair, or your eyes? This series explores what would happen if you looked in the mirror and you saw an animal's parts instead of your own. One of the imaginative books in the What If You Had series describes the different ears of animals, of actually a dozen animals, and how it's helpful for that specific species' life and survival. The end of the book helps kids understand why their ears are the way that they are and teaches that form follows function. The author introduces humor with the text, and the illustrator makes the illustrations hilarious. I would say that most kids are animal lovers, so this book is a winner for kids of all ages.
April Pulley Sayer is another name to know in the world of nonfiction that reads like fiction. Her books are perfect for young children and often contain glorious full-color photographs of the animals, or vegetables, or fruits, or nuts that are her subjects. She calls herself a photo illustrator, and it's easy to see why. Being Frog, shown here, contains close-up images of her froggy subject as it goes about its day, and her poetic rhyming text is perfect for reading aloud. Rah Rah Radishes is another favorite, and it is, as the title says, a vegetable chant. Chanting and cheering about vegetables, why not? One of her series on the natural world, which includes Full of Fall, Best in Snow, Raindrops Roll, and Bloom Boom, can be found in the nature and science section of the picture books because they read just like a good story. If you need a good STEM book for a younger crowd, you can't go wrong with one of April Pulley Sayer's books.
My next book is Paint Lab for Kids, 52 Adventures in Painting and Mixed Media for Budding Artists of All Ages, written by Stephanie Corfey. Anyone who likes arts and crafts will love this book. Get out your paintbrushes and dive into this book that is full of activities to try out. The book has a helpful step-by-step guide with accompanying pictures to show you what the final product will look like. As a bonus, most of the projects involve pretty accessible materials that you will probably be able to find at your house. And from collage to watercolors to decoupage, there's a little something to interest everyone. These are great projects for rainy days, if you want to get a little messy, or just for fun. If you like this book, there are 33 books total in the Labs for Kids series, including Art Lab, Kitchen Science Lab, and STEAM Lab. This book does skew more for older kids, so I would recommend it for ages 6 to 10.
When we have a question about the world around us, how do we discover the answers? Winged Wonders, Solving the Monarch Migration Mystery, uses one specific scientific inquiry to show us that it's usually not one person who figures things out on their own, but a whole community of people working together. In this case, author Mead Pincus describes how we learned exactly where millions of monarch butterflies migrate to each year. The final and question and answer in the text, along with the action ideas in the back of the book, lets kids know that there is a place for them right now in the world of science. Yasamura's illustrations feature soft green tones which counterpoint the dozens and dozens of bold orange butterflies fluttering throughout the book. This book came out in 2020 from Sleeping Bear Press, and kids age 5 and up can find this book in our nonfiction section and also as an ebook through Hoopla.
This book is called Watch This, a book about making shapes. It's written by Jane Godwin, photographs are by Hilary Walker, and the visual art is by Becky Orpin. This is a great book for toddlers and preschoolers about shapes. It's a fun and colorful book, and kids are always interested in seeing other kids playing, and the real photos give something so unique to this picture book. Getting kids to create shapes with their bodies will create an extra sense of appeal for a child reader, and it also adds an element of interactivity, as kids will no doubt try to make some of the shapes and maybe some new ones themselves. Maybe they'll try letters too. The authors cleverly combine learning shapes and advocating fitness and cooperative skills, and it is done in such a unique and fun way. The fact that the children are named at the beginning of the book means that you can introduce them all to your child, incorporating memory and print awareness, which we need for learning to read. I recommend this book for babies, toddlers, and preschoolers.
You got a little preview of my next book, which is one of the Smithsonian encyclopedias. I loved this kind of book as a kid. In fact, I still love this kind of book now. I would spend hours poring over facts and pictures, taking in each detail with fascination and wonder. Sometimes you don't want to read a book cover to cover. You want to just be able to open it up to a page and learn something new. Smithsonian, along with DK Publishing, has created several of these encyclopedias, like the General Interest Picturepedia, which would have fascinated me, and more subject-specific, like Encyclopedia of the Human Body, a Visual Encyclopedia of Geography, and one of Timelines and History. Each can be found in the appropriate subject call number, like People and Places is in the 900s, and Inventions is in 609, while a more broad covers almost everything in the world encyclopedia would be found in the 000 section of the library. Filled with bright-colored photographs and illustrations, these are sure to hold the attention of your fact-hungry elementary-aged child.
This book is Pocket Full of Colors, The Magical World of Mary Blair, Disney Artist Extraordinaire, written by Amy Guglielmo and Jacqueline Torville, and illustrated by Bridget Barriger. This biography explores the life of Mary Blair, who was one of the first women to work at Walt Disney Studios. She is most well known for designing the It's a Small World ride at Walt Disney World. This book follows Mary's journey of perseverance and blazing her own path. Mary's love of color translates well to this book, where color absolutely explodes off the page. The illustrations are done in a friendly Disney-type style. If you like stories of women pioneers or are interested in the history of Disney, this is a must-read for you. I recommend this book for ages 5 to 8. And if you like this book, check out Mary Blair's Unique Flair, The Girl Who Became One of the Disney Legends, which is written by Amy Nevesky.
My next book is Hello, Crochet Friends by Jonah Larson, who was 11 years old when he wrote it with help from his mom, Jennifer Larson. It came out in 2019 from Quill Publishing, and it's shelved in our juvenile biography section. The long subtitle says it all: making art, being mindful, giving back. Do what makes you happy. In the first part of the book, Jonah talks frankly about a time when he wasn't happy at all. He dealt with some pretty significant behavior challenges as a younger child, when he acted out a lot and had a difficult time interacting at school. One day, his aunt passed along some craft supplies, and Jonah was transfixed by the crochet hook. His mom helped him find instructions, and crocheting quickly became something that helped him channel his energy in new directions. The book is illustrated with photos taken by Aaron Harris and the Larson family, and there's a lot of pictures of Jonah's big smile and of his work. Kids aged 6 to 10 might be captivated by this book about a real kid and his amazing art.
This series is Ordinary People Changing the World, written by Brad Meltzer, and the illustrator is Christopher Eliopoulos. So this series tells every single child that they have what it takes to change the world. It's a comic-style cartoony biography series focusing on the traits that make our heroes great. Those same traits that kids can aspire to in order to live heroically themselves. For example, Neil Armstrong is a calm, determined problem solver. Frida Kahlo had hope and perseverance in the face of adversity. But these books also show the influences in each of our heroes' lives in childhood, and of course, it has lots and lots of facts about our hero in the book. At the back of each book is a timeline and real photos of our hero. This series also inspired the PBS Kids TV show Xavier Riddle and the Secret Museum. These books encourage kids to dream big and become a hero in their own lifetime. I recommend this series for ages 5 to 8.
Do you ever wonder who made some of your favorite toys? Like, for example, who came up with the idea for the Super Soaker water gun? Well, it turns out it was created by a former NASA engineer turned inventor, Lonnie Johnson. Whoosh is his story, beginning with his childhood interest in building and inventing, and ending with his creation of one of the top 20 toys of all time. Did you know that he wasn't even trying to invent a squirt gun? He was actually trying to create a new cooling system for refrigerators. Yep, you never know what might come from your invention. If you're looking for a book to inspire young makers, Whoosh by Chris Barton and Don Tate is a great choice.
This is Blue Sky, White Stars, written by Sarvinder Nabarhas and illustrated by Kadir Nelson. This gorgeously illustrated book highlights America's past and present in short poetry America has gone through to become the nation that it is today. It is a celebration of how far America has come and the best that America can be. I like that the book is full of hope and promise. I love that it portrays the vast diversity of America and how we are all Americans. Kadir Nelson, the illustrator, has won many awards for his work, including the Caldecott Medal, the Siebert Medal, and the Coretta Scott King Award. You can absolutely see why in this book, and you will be wowed by the beauty of the art. The book as a whole has an emotional heft to it, and you might find yourself getting teary-eyed when you read it. I'd recommend this book for ages 5 to 8.
When George Washington became the first president of the United States, there were 9 future presidents already alive in America. With that sentence, author Kate Messner introduces us to a fresh way to think about the men who have been US presidents. Instead of a typical chronological list, she groups all the future presidents who were alive at the same time. Some of them were grown-ups already working in government. Some were little boys playing sports or going to school. Illustrator Adam Rex does a fantastic job making sure each of the many people in the book are recognizable individuals, but he also sneaks a number into everyone's picture to make sure we know who is who. This book won the elementary nonfiction category of the 2020 Sibyl's Youth Blogger Literature Awards. It came out before the 2020 elections, and it ends with an invitation to think about all of the future presidents who are alive right now. Maybe one of them is a kid we know who will read this book and set their sights high.
Do you need some great ways to eat a fly? Well, then this book is for you. 13 Ways to Eat a Fly by Sue Heavenrich and David Clark. This STEAM book is a subtraction book about 13 flies becoming someone's dinner and is a fascinating introduction for children to entomology, life cycles, and food chains. The author is a high school teacher and illustrator depict the strategies employed by predators like spiders, frogs, fungi, humans, and more to catch and consume their favorite fly species. There are 2 layers in this book. The first layer is closer to a narrative nonfiction and includes both rhyme and a countdown. The second layer of text is expository, so engaging and informative. Whether these unfortunate dipterans are zapped or wrapped, liquefied or zombified, the science is real and really gross. It even includes a guide to eating bugs, complete with nutritional information for a single serving of flies. I recommend this book to ages 3 to 8. You could pair this book with What's on Your Plate, Exploring the World of Food to explore food around the world, or Eating Bugs as Sustainable Food for great recipes. So have fun reading and eating in these books.
If you listen to NPR at all, you may have heard advertisements for the Wow in the World podcast for kids, hosted by Guy Raz and Mindy Thomas. Or maybe you and your kids already listened to it. I found this on our new bookshelves and thought it looked like fun, and it did not disappoint. Divided into easily digestible sections, this book is meant to be opened and read at any point, and as the introduction states, it's filled with facts and cartoons, and with a special emphasis on the gross bits. This will have a lot of appeal for elementary-age kids. They'll learn and have fun, and be filled with fun facts to share at dinner, like some people have 3 rows of eyelashes. One of them was Elizabeth Taylor. And if you could smooth out all the wrinkles in your brain, it would flatten to the size of a small pillowcase. And in 2017, researchers discovered that when 2 people hold hands, their hearts begin to beat in sync. Aww.
This book is Lend a Hand, Girl-Sized Ways of Helping Others, written by April Lunston. American Girl fans rejoice. American Girl has a whole series of excellent nonfiction books that help empower girls to become their best selves. This one focuses on how girls can help in their neighborhoods and communities. The book is divided into 4 categories: volunteering, donating, raising money, and speaking out. The book offers simple, practical ideas like picking up trash at a local park, writing thank you notes, or even helping out around the house. The book also includes real-life examples of how girls made a difference in the lives of those around them. And although this book is geared specifically for girls, anyone and everyone can get inspired from this book. I would recommend this book for ages 5 to 10.
Pluto gets the call. What call? Well, in this story, a bunch of scientists from Earth call Pluto to tell him they've decided he's just not a planet anymore. Pluto is super bummed and sets off on a tour to share his news with the rest of the solar system and get some advice from the sun. Lori Keller's bright and colorful cartoon illustrations are a great match to author Adam Rex's lighthearted text. But don't be fooled. There are a lot of facts in this funny book. I chose this book because when a friend read it out loud to me, I laughed all the way through. But I also chose it because at the end, the sun tells Pluto that scientists are still arguing about whether Pluto is a planet after all. That's a perfect reminder for kids aged 3 to 8 that science isn't just facts. Science is also the always ongoing process of learning more about the world.
This book is called The Big Green Crocodile, Rhymes to Say and Play by Jane Newberry. The illustrator is Carolina Rabbi. This is an absolutely delightful book of poetry written specifically for babies, toddlers, and their grown-ups. The poems are simple and they have themes that children usually love, like tea parties, animals, space, birthday parties. And the rhymes cover the day. So from morning playtime and lunchtime to being out on the town. evening playtime, bath time, and bedtime. Perfect for developing those cognitive skills, phonological awareness, and vocabulary. And my favorite part, there is a small box on each page with suggestions for how adults can include movement and other senses while enjoying the poetry together. From hand movements and whole body motions to piggyback rides. I can't wait to use this in story time, minus the piggyback rides. I would recommend this for babies and toddlers. I would also recommend this book for preteens learning to be babysitters. There's simple ways to interact with little ones, which is a great start for babysitters and which will make them the favorite babysitter on the block.
Jason Chin is an award-winning author and illustrator who has created several engrossing nonfiction picture books filled with glorious illustrations and mind-bending facts. Your place in the universe compares us to other things in our world, like trees, buildings, mountains, and even the whole universe. Grand Canyon, another of his titles, takes us through the history and geology of the national park as we join a father and daughter on a hike. Others he's written and illustrated include Water is Water, about the water cycle, Island, a story of the Galapagos, and Redwood, about those magnificent trees. If you're looking to delve deep into the natural world through spectacular illustrations and detailed information, Jason Chin's books are for you.
My last book is Glass Slipper, Gold Sandal, A Worldwide Cinderella, written by Paul Fleischman and illustrated by Julie Pashkis. Did you know that there is a version of the Cinderella story in just about every culture? This book takes us around the world as we hear about Cinderella from countries like Mexico, Zimbabwe, Iran, and Japan. For example, we learn that Cinderella wears glass slippers in France, diamond anklets in India, and gold sandals in Iraq. The book weaves the different stories together into a wonderful whole. The accompanying illustrations give a quilt-like feel to this tapestry of stories. I love fairy tales, and I like that this book has a multicultural focus that may get the reader interested in other fairy tales and folk tales from across the globe. I love this book, and I would recommend this book for ages 5 to 8.
Since we're talking about nonfiction today, and nonfiction is all about facts, I wanted to end with a book that tries to help kids understand just what a fact is. Facts versus Opinions versus Robots is from best-selling Michael Rex, who is both the author and illustrator. It came out in 2020 from Nancy Paulson Books. Michael Rex introduces a collection of colorful robots and invites kids to engage with the illustration and discover what they can know or not know about the robots. Along the way, kids get a little practice deciding what's the difference between something that can be proven true or false and something that you feel or believe but can't prove. I think this is a great way to introduce what can be a tricky concept, but that's my opinion. You can check it out for yourself from our nonfiction section or as an Overdrive ebook, and that's a fact.
All right, that's our titles for tonight. Even with children's nonfiction books, we have a lot to say, so thanks for sticking with us, even if we went over time a few minutes. Thanks to our panelists for the tough job of choosing just 6 favorite books for this session. To sign up for story times and other programs, visit the virtual events tab at arapahoelibraries.org. You can also find more book lists, links to storytime videos, activity ideas, and lots of other resources. Check out our 0 to 5 page under Browse the Library. Sign up for our newsletter for regular updates on the latest programs and services. Our theme next month is bilingual and wordless picture books. We hope to see you there. Good night.